Three second-half goals by the home side Tigres, 4-1 in aggregate. They go and move on to the next round of the Concacaf Champions Cup to play the winner of Orlando SC and Calgary FC of the Canadian Premier League. Gareth Wheeler, Jordan Wilson with you. Disappointment for the Whitecaps, most certainly, but perspective is required here. This Tigres side, joint best in the Clausura, in Liga MX. They made it all the way to the final of the Apertura as well. This is a good side. The frustrating point, Jordan, will be this wasn't anywhere close to the best performance by this Tigres side. They actually kept Vancouver hanging around, and there were opportunities to be taken advantage of by Vancouver as well. And simply put, they just were incapable of doing that tonight.
They couldn't score. They could not score at Vancouver Whitecaps. Tigres didn't play their best. This was no way a 3-0 game. But the beauty about football is you have to score goals to win. You cannot just play. You don't get points for passes. None of that matters. It's about putting the ball in the back of the net. And Vancouver Whitecaps could not do that tonight, but Tigres did.
Goes back to the first leg as well. Decision making. Just being a little bit more clinical in the attacking third, being decisive. These were the areas that they kind of lacked. And it was, Tigres were decisive in the end, making sure that they took their chances. However limited they were, Vancouver had to change their shape. And when you bring on players like Lainez, Cardova, Ibanez, I mean, it just shows you the depth of talent in this Tigres side and how good they are when they're playing their full best 11.
Yeah, and I think as well, something to add to your point was just the timing in which this happened. Like towards the end of the game when you're pushing, you could see a little bit tired legs from Vancouver Whitecaps. Also a bit of frustration because I think the players know that they did enough to be in a winning position, but you still had a goose egg, you still had nil. And then you have these fresh legs coming on, bags of talent. And Tigres finished them off.
Sartini was aggressive. I mean, he had an attacking side out. He brought off both fullbacks, went to a back four, put some more attacking players forward. It wasn't the first goal that sunk them because still the mission is get a goal, bring it to extra time. 85th minute goal, 90+1, done and dusted. Here is your Volkswagen moment of the match. We will give it to the first goal that went in. It just seemed to take just the air out of Vancouver Whitecaps sails. Look at this. Multiple times, Vancouver just fails to clear the ball. You just need to bring the ball down in that moment. Instead, you're just kicking it long. And then a mistake by a player in terms of communication with Berhalter and White down that right-hand side. They need to know better in terms of what to do based upon the rotations, Jordan.
Yeah, no, great point, Wheels. Right here, right? Berhalter closes down. White goes to help. White should go on the ball. Berhalter should go with the trailing man. Right? It shouldn't be a switch there. That little second gives a bit the header off the bar, yeah, and then there's a tap in. But in that moment, it needs to be better from the Whitecaps in that transition.
I mean, a little bit fluky coming off the bar. It's right here. Berhalter needs to stay with the man that's overlapping. Sure. At that moment, Brian White slides in. Is just a player who typically plays central midfield. He's playing wide right. Martins couldn't play today. You're a little bit thin in those areas with no Adekubi, no Ali Ahmed available. And it ended up costing them that first goal of the game.
And it seems like a little thing, but I could tell you this. As a central midfielder for Berhalter, he's usually in Brian White's position, helping a fullback. But now being a fullback on that side, he needs to take the runner and keep White on the ball.
I mean, in terms of moment of the match, we will document it. We'll show you a number of missed chances and missed opportunities for the Vancouver Whitecaps, not only tonight, but over the two legs. Your Gatorade performer in the match, we'll give it to Ozziel Herrera. He did score the second goal of the game. He was involved in the first goal. He was a player that played the cross initially, and he set up the third goal as well. Diego Lainez, I mean, the argument can be made. The game needed his quality on the field, the 23-year-old. That's a great ball at Herrera with the finish.
Yeah, great finish, great header, but the ball is served on a platter, right? Just to make contact and to be the king and really put the nail in the coffin like he did.
And 90+1, I mean, Herrera in alone, really good run in behind the back line. Whoop! Got rid of two defenders, a little bit of a slip, recovers, and Vignon ends up putting the ball into the back of the net. It was a very difficult one who the player of the match was today because the quality wasn't great on Tigres' side of the equation. Angulo, the left-sided center back, he played well at times. but it was a game that was severely lacking quality for whatever reason. A lot of slips, a lot of miscues, a lot of poor passing on the night, a lot of mistakes. And it was Tigres eventually that took advantage of the opportunities given to them more than the Vancouver Whitecaps tonight.
It was a tough watch, Wheels. It was tough to take in the match. It almost seemed like both teams just played the day before. Like heavy legs, passes out of bounds, miscommunication, not really concentrated. But again, Tigres rose to the top because they still scored the 3 goals. But for the Vancouver Whitecaps, this has to feel like such a blow, a missed opportunity. Because the game was, both teams were poor. But Tigres were the team to score goals at the end.
Now, again, Vancouver Whitecaps, game number 2 of their season, inherently, whether it's the Champions League or the Concacaf Champions Cup, it's going to benefit the Liga MX sides because they're beyond the midway point of their season. Their players are fit. They understand what their roles are in the team. Whitecaps, like CPL sides, MLS sides, still figuring it out. That being said, there were opportunities not only here tonight, but in the first leg on Vancouver Island as well. We'll walk you through some of the many chances that the Whitecaps had to punish Tigres, and they let them off the hook numerous occasions.
Yeah, leg 1 was all about transitions, right? You see Gold to White to Kralak, doesn't finish. Gold right here tries with the outside of foot.
Technique there.
Like, yeah, only certain players could really try that. But him, again, Gold pressing, right? Fafa gets the ball here, but they're putting numbers forward and putting themselves in the position. And we just want to paint the picture because this is leg 1 and opportunities getting close. Vite here curls it, marginally misses. But leg 2 today, look, 3rd minute, Krylak skipping over the ball. Like, this should be in the back of the net, Wheels. These are missed opportunities. Here, Lombardo, I'll give, again, great to get up. But these are moments where you should really take care of this match and score a goal.
Yeah, we'll show you the Brian White one in a minute. I believe this is Laborda. The ball falls to him right. You're just reaching a little bit behind. I thought Laborda played well tonight. I think he was him and Veselinovic were 2 of the better players for the Whitecaps. This is the one right here. Giveaway by Guzman. Brian White, he can chip Guzman. He can pick out one of the multiple players coming to the top of the area. He does neither, Jordan.
It's weird because you're seeing a killer in Brian White going forward. That just was tentative. And I get it. 2nd game of the season, I get it. You're playing in February, I get it. You just played a week ago at home. You're not really prime yet. But you're just expecting a bit more from this Whitecap side to go and score a goal. In this situation, Brian White scores those goals, Wheels. That is on a platter for him. And just that tentative 3 yards out and is going under his foot, it should be in the back of the net.
Again, perspective, I'm going to give the Whitecaps benefit of the doubt. Like, this is an extension of their preseason, really. I know that it doesn't sound right. You know, you want to win these games like this, but there's a little bit of rust that still needs to be shaken off. You know how good White and Gauld and company were last season. Wasn't Krylak's night. I think he was very good in the first leg, but tonight just things were a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, for sure. I think also too, with Krylak back to play, holding up the ball. It's tough if you're a number 9, there's someone on your back all the time, and you're giving the ball away. You don't really get into a rhythm in the match. And I think we saw that tonight from the number 9. It's like, it's easier when you can head into the box, you're getting service, you feel like you can get your body on the end of crosses. But that wasn't it. His back was to play, and it was poor. And I think he just got out of rhythm tonight, and it was hard to connect with White. But you can see with Gauld, White, Krylak, this is going to be the 3 big dogs this season. They just weren't there yet today.
I still rate this Whitecaps team. I think they can have a really good season. When Adekubi comes in, when Ahmed comes in, you had a lot of quality and a lot of players that can play in different ways. I just wonder if they need one more player with a little bit of pace. Yeah. Perhaps Johnson's that player. Does Pico still have it in his legs? It just seems like they might need, like Gloria wasn't great with the Whitecaps last year, was good, but that element of bringing a little bit more speed, a little bit more pace into the attack might be something they're lacking.
Yeah, you're onto something for sure. And it may be a breakout for a Johnson or for Fafa, right? You're seeing 2nd game and we're playing in February. It's a bit hard, but you need someone just to maybe break out and come off the bench. It seemed a little bit with Fafa that he had that bit of life, but then the game ran away from him, obviously with the first goal, the 2nd goal for them, and there was an uphill battle. But yeah, they need a little bit of injection of someone to express themselves going forward.
First half kind of went to plan, even though it was sloppy, but the last half an hour, a little bit of a struggle for the Whitecaps here tonight. Your All-State saving the match, we'll give it to Takioka, a 2nd half save on Brunetta. Most of the shots that came his way were from distance. Like, they did a good job keeping really Tigres to the outside. Good little stop diving down to his right-hand side. Harsh on him tonight, conceding 3. Takaoka with your All-State save of the match. We will take a look at your full-time stats. Tigres ended up giving Vancouver Whitecaps a lot of the ball in the second half. They did improve just in terms of the quality of passing, but just the decisiveness in the attacking third, not quite there. Over the course of the 2 legs, almost 20 shots, only 3 on target. So the efficiency needs to be much better. Next up for the Whitecaps, their MLS season opener as they take on Charlotte on March 2nd. We'll wrap things up. The Caps are out. Forge are out. There's still one more Canadian hope left in this Concacaf Champions Cup. We'll put a bow on it next. Final score from Monterrey is Tigres 3, the Whitecaps 0, 4-1 on aggregate. Whitecaps are out of the Concacaf Champions Cup.